Today we're going to render a rear 3/4 view of our sexy Italian sports coupe, this time on a dark gray background. I continued my sketch exploration, this time focusing on the rear 3/4 view and exploring different rear end themes, also trying to get the car to look a lot more exotic. So I've selected the sketch I want to work over. It's got a nice perspective and proportion, so I'm zooming in. And I'm going to start my sketch overlay using the thin pencil tool. So now I'm going to select my background color, a medium gray. I'm starting on my graphic layer, locking in all of the dark areas of the wheels and tires, the glass, the lighting, and the main shadows. I'm also fading the periphery of the glass and the bottoms of the tires in order to blend them into the environment. So now I'm going to map out my light source by sketching a quick sphere and putting a hot spot where I want the light to hit. This is going to be my map for light and shadow. Now, working on a gray environment, I can start to add light as well as subtract shadow. So on my sphere, I'm going to show where the light source is, and that's going to be my guide for how I render the vehicle. So every surface that's facing towards that light source is going to get lit in the same way. And every surface that's facing away is going to get shadow in the same way. So as all these different volumes intersect each other, you'll see, based on the direction of light, how they intersect each other. Now I'm starting to light up the body, the main body, in the same way that I lit up the sphere. So I have this sort of egg-shaped hot spot filling up the main volume of the body. Now I'm just erasing away some of the graphic areas. Just cleaning up the tail lamp area and the license plate pocket. I'm going in with different sized airbrushes and erasers, trying to fine-tune those contours. So I'm putting a tighter eraser on the body side in order to get that tighter radius. I'm lighting up the rear bumper. And also, there's a light catcher leading into that side scoop on the front fender. That's going to catch the same light. So now I'm going to go in and add some dark sky tone to the top of that fender in order to turn that surface away from the light source. So that's how you're able to tell that that rear haunch is a different volume from the main volume of the body. So every surface that turns away from that light gets darker again. I'm putting some light also on the far side of that rear fender in order to catch a bit more light in the same way. Adding light at the bottom of the rear fascia, again to catch some light and help plant the car. Add some aerodynamic elements. I've added a new layer just above the graphic layer, where I'm adding additional shadow using a soft airbrush. Also adding shadow to the extremities of the lower rear fascia, just to give it that additional depth. Now I'm starting to add some detail, starting with some highlights in the tops of the tires and on the carbon fiber element on the lower body side. Adding additional light to the rear splitters. I'm imagining these are some sort of glossy carbon material as well. Now I'm adding some dimension to the license plate pocket. And the tops of the tail lamps, which are cylinders that protrude from the main bodywork. Those cylinders are hollowed out, so they also catch light at the bottom as well. Now I'm going in with a fine-tipped fountain pen and just adding some crisp edges to those aerodynamic elements. Adding some spoke details to the wheels. Some additional detail inside the air extractor on the front fender. And I'm just adding some additional highlighting around those tail lamps to really pop out those cylinders. So now I'm going to add a little bit of darkness and depth to the background behind the vehicle. That's going to help the vehicle really pop off the page. And that is a pretty simple grayscale rendering on a dark background.